government in this regard. Stay with us. Have a conversation on this matter here on Ghana Tonight, and we'll spread our tentacles beyond the borders of Ghana. We'll be live in the United States of America to gauge the mood and atmosphere as part of our build for the coverage of the United States of America elections, which begins tomorrow. Remain at your election command center, and obviously we'll tell you why you should be concerned about what's happening there in the United States. As always, as they say, when the United States coughs, the whole world catches a cold. But for Ghana, what should be our focus and interest? As always, you're an integral part of the conversation. Let's hear from you. The hashtag we're using is GhanaTonight on Facebook and on X. Let's get talking. Let's settle for Ghana Briefs.
The Accra High Court has dismissed an application seeking to restrain Christian Tatayeuno from holding himself as a Deputy Inspector General of Police in charge of operations following his appointment by President Akufo-Addo. A private citizen, Emmanuel Felix Mante, described the appointment as illegal since there is no office in the Ghana Police Service set up as the Deputy IGP. The flag bearer of the NDC says he is disappointed that President Akufo-Addo and his Vice President, Dr. Bawumia, failed to honor personally a call by the Pentecostal Council, the Christian Council and the Chief Imam for the National Peace Campaign. Speaking exclusively to TV3, John Mahama says the priority the NDC has placed on a peaceful process leading to the election is a reflection that it is committed to lasting peace in the country.
I offered even to send my running mate, Nana, but they impressed on me that they needed me there. And they also said that the President and Bawumia were going to be there. And so based on that assurance, I said, well, let me sacrifice this program just to come and show that we also are committed to peace. And so I did that, only to come and find out that the President and Dr. Bawumia did not prioritize it. I was very disappointed, but I thank God that I attended. At least on behalf of my party, we made a commitment to peace.
With some few days left for Parliament to reconvene, Chief Whip of the NPP caucus and MP from Sawum Adrejuri, Frank Anodompre, has criticized Speaker of Parliament Alban Gbagbin's leadership style, describing it as biased and one that favors the opposition NDC. He made these remarks at an NPP victory walk in Sawum, where he hinted that NPP has a tough skin and respects Alban Gbagbin as Speaker, but would not be intimidated by the NDC.
We expect the Speaker to respect the decision of the court, and the NDC should also respect the decision of the court. If they won't respect it, the Ghanaian people should know the kind of people who want to lead us. One, they are not law-abiding. They don't respect the separation of powers. They don't respect the ruling of the Supreme Court. How can they rule us?
Flag bearer of the NPP says the next NPP administration will seek to create 4 million jobs to meet growing demands. In a formal engagement with young voters, the NPP flag bearer reiterated his pledge to create an enabling environment for private sector-led growth.
If in 8 years, with all the challenges, we were able to do 2.6 million jobs, it shows, by just plain logic and reason, that we will do much more than 2.6 million in the next 8 years.
The Coalition of Freight Forwarders Association has blamed shipping lines operating in Ghana for the poor performance of the city and the high cost of goods in the country. At a press conference prior to protests, what they describe as imposing arbitrary charges and engaging in unfair practices, the association called on Ghanaians to join the fight against the illegitimate activities of some of the shipping companies.
You are charging me administrative in United States dollars. Now, after they've collected all these monies in trillions of Ghana cedis, what do you think they are using the money for? They don't need your cedis. they go to the market for the dollars. Check Thursday, Friday, go to any black market, only Forex Bureau. The dollar would go. They'll tell you the shipping lines are in town, coming for the dollars. So this is what we are talking about.
Oh, it's more news on 3news.com. Make some time and visit 3news.com. This is Ghana Tonight. Coming up next, here on your Election Command Center, opinion polls put the National Democratic Congress, John Dramani Mahama, in the lead with barely 33 days to election day, December 7. What are the key dynamics at play? We shall tell you and engage the pollster on this matter here on your Election Command Center. Specifically, what went into this? What are the major considerations for the persons who were surveyed? And what really led to this particular conclusion? And this is the latest Global Info Analytics poll conducted between October 28th and November 2nd, which is just some 2 days away, that's 2 days before today, here on your Election Command Center. And with this polls that we have been also engaging that's Musa Dankwa on over the period, at least in the last 8 months, we've been testing the pulse of the Ghanaian voter ahead of election day, December 7, and clearly giving you an idea of what they're thinking, what the consideration of the voter is, what are the issues that would inform the voter's choice on who to vote for. And we've been consistent at this here on your Election Command Center. And I always say this, that if you want to be convinced, don't stick to one poll. So here's what we're going to do tonight. We've combined the similarities and was the common denominators between the Global Info Analytics polls and then also the National Commission for Civic Education, the NCCE polls. And then what came through, yes, that's sometime last week, Friday, that's the Afrobarometer survey as well. All those three have some common denominators, which we're going to be getting into here on Ghana Tonight. But the latest coming through from Global Info Analytics, the survey that they conducted between October 28th and November 2nd, that's what you see right there. They said the question that was asked, if elections were held on November 2nd, this is it. The almost 10,000 respondents to this survey by Global Info Analytics indicated that if elections were held on 2nd November, 52.7% of them said they were going to vote for John Dramani Mahama. As against on the 26th of October, which was just about a week before that period, 53.3% of the respondents said they were going to vote for John Dramani Mahama. So if you do the comparative analysis, and that is the periodic base on base, you'll see that John Mahama, based on the respondents' information, has lost just about 0.5% of the persons who said they were going to vote for him in the month of October, as against those who responded to the survey in the month of November. Now, for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, he gained 1% of the persons who said they were going to vote for him. If you compare those who said going to vote for him that's on the 26th of October, as against those who said they would vote for him on the 2nd of November when the survey was conducted. So from 40 to 41%, as against also John Dramani Mahama, who 53.3% now on the 2nd of November, just 2 days ago, those who responded to the survey said, you know what, they're going to vote for him. But then again, he still is in the lead. Now, this is clearly representative. If you want to find out what's happening with the others as well, Alan Kojo Chamanting, Nana Kwame Bediako, guess what? Based on the Global Info Analytics poll, consistently over the last 4 months at least, we've seen Nana Kwame Bediako consistently come through as the third force going into this election and also being trailed by Alan Kojo Chamanting. Does this really say that we're going to have a new third force, bearing in mind the fact that the third force in the 2020 election was the Ghana Union Movement, the GUM, as well. He is in this election as well, going into the December 7, 2024 elections. Here are the key issues to the Ghanaian voter: economy, jobs, education. It hasn't changed based on what we have. This survey from the Global Info Analytics, 2nd November survey, the key issues are still the same: economy, jobs, education, roads, healthcare. Those are the 5 key issues. And this is where I bring you in to get a clear analysis of how these 5 key issues run through a number of the surveys that we are considering tonight. So bear in mind: economy, jobs, education, roads, healthcare. And take a look at this. Global Info Analytics, the 5 key issues amongst the voters that they surveyed: economy, jobs, education, roads, healthcare. The NCCE, the 5 key issues: education, jobs, healthcare, roads, economy. The Afrobarometer survey, also unemployment, roads, health, education, economy. So you see in there, all these 5 top issues runs through 3 different surveys or polls conducted amongst different demographics across the various regions. Now, that tells you a story. There was the next question that was asked: the direction of the country. Now, according to Global Info Analytics, as of the 2nd of November, those who responded, 65% of the respondents said that the country was headed in the wrong direction, as against 66% in October. The same question was asked Afrobarometer survey respondents. Afrobarometer survey respondents said 82% of them said the country was headed in the wrong direction. That's another question was asked of the Global Info Analytics respondents: their economic condition of the voters as of today, as compared to last year. Guess what? 54% of them said their economic conditions were worse as compared to last year. Then the same question was asked by the Afrobarometer survey. And the respondents, 67% of them said that their personal living conditions was worse as compared to the previous year. As against Global Info Analytics, 54% saying the economic conditions were worse. So you see that consistently we've seen that trend of a difference. Even though there are different surveys and polls, the respondents are all telling the same story when it comes to the economic conditions being worse, when it comes to the direction of the country, and then also why they're going to vote for a particular candidate or not, and the 5 key issues that they take into consideration. So we hit the streets, in fact, this evening, and joining me right now, let's do a quick conversation on this matter. I'm going to be joined in a bit by Musa Dankwa, Executive Director of Global Info Analytics, and also Dr. Osai Kwapong, John Osai Kwapong, who is also a Democracy and Development Fellow at the Center for Democratic Development, CDD. They're the ones who also, together with Afrobarometer, they conducted this Afrobarometer survey as well. But right now, Emmanuel Semani is going to be joining me in a bit with the People's Voice here on Your Election Command Center. Emmanuel Semani is at the Kwame Nkrumah interchange right now. Semani, let's talk to the people around you. What are they telling you?
Well, many thanks for your time, Alfred. Good evening and welcome to the People's Voice here on Ghana Tonight. And I am Emmanuel Semani. Now, according to major polls, there are 3 areas of interest where a lot of people think that would be a deciding factor coming into the elections. I'm talking about jobs, I'm talking about the economy and education. And so we are on the streets of Accra, particularly here at the Circle overhead, to find out from people what they make of which political parties can deliver when it comes to these 3 areas. So let's get some, insights into this particular, Now, Chief, when it comes to the matter of the economy, when it comes to jobs, and when it comes to education, which of the political parties here, I'm talking about the NDC and the NPP, which of them do you think will be able to deliver well or properly amongst these 3 areas?
NDC for sure. Because when we cast our mind back, the NPP at first they were able to, to complete their manifesto about these education, jobs, and these things. Because when we look at Kufuor did a lot. Yeah, President Kufuor, Daddy, I agree to you, Daddy. He did a lot. And when we cast our mind to Professor Mills, Daddy, may his soul rest in perfect peace. He did a lot. When we cast our mind back to ex-President John Dramani Mahama, he too did a lot. But when we look to this future of ours, Nana-Addo, Ghana trusted that Nana-Addo is going to do a lot. But this man has defeated us. He has, he has shamed us a lot because he has made us toil for nothing. Because when we see to education, this time around, see the score or see the results coming out from our brothers. Right. It's not good. Okay. And when you see education, I've never witnessed in my entire life that, education whereby someone will be going for 3 months and come back home for 3 months. And so, parents, just, let us be Ghanaians. Let us talk for the nation because we are going. Right. Let's think for the future because, see, when your word is too bad, coming home for 3 months, is going to learn some immoral acts, something like this sexual and this bad habit like stealing and Charlie.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So let's get some more on this. I want to find out from you, right? So we're looking at 3 areas. We're looking at jobs, we're looking at the economy, and we're looking at education. Who or which of the political parties do you think can deliver when it comes to maybe job creation, for example? Do you think the NDC can, create more jobs, or the NDP?
It's NDC because if you look some certain things, you compare at first and you compare right now, then this will help Ghana because if you look at first how things cost and if you look at first how these things cost, I think the NDC will do the most. I think the NDC will do the most.
So you are talking in terms of the economy. How about in jobs creation and then education?
The job creation is 24 economy. I don't know how to help people, but as for me to help me, because if you do 24 work an hour, you think you will close so that someone also will come and do. So everyone will get job to do. And if you come to the education, I heard they said university will be free, I think, for the first term. Right. And I think to help us, because as for me, I've completed the SS last year. I've not able to go to the university. So if it starts, it can help me for me to get the opportunity to go to university.
All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right. So there you have it, the people's voice coming to you live from the overhead at Circle. Back to you in the studio, Alfred.
Emmanuel Somani, thank you very much. And this is the people's voice, and you have a say in what we say here on Ghana Tonight. And so always we will be in a community near you. So look out for us here on the Election Command Center. Joining me right now on Zoom, Dr. John Osai-Kwapong is a Senior Development Democracy Fellow at the Center for Democratic Development, CDD. Also, Musa Dankwa, Executive Director of Global Info and Elections. Gentlemen, good evening. Thank you so much for joining us here on Ghana Tonight.
Good evening, Alfred, and thank you for having me.
Great. Now, and I'll start off with you, Mr. Dankwa, and clearly those 5 issues that runs through both yours and that of that's an Afrobarometer survey by the CDD. It's clear, it's consistent over time, and you don't see that changing in the next 33 days based on your own analysis and the interaction with the voters that you've been polling?
No, Alfred, no. I don't think so. I don't believe so. And I don't think it will change. We have had consistently economy, jobs, education as the top 3 since polling started in January 2022. And that hasn't changed. The remaining 33 days will not change anything with regards to the priority of voters.
I see. And Dr. Kwapong, and this is where as well, for you, having monitored the conversation even before Afrobarometer came in, these issues, economy still remains number 1, as you see there. And you are in the United States. The economy is the biggest issue going into their elections, is it not? And we see that playing as well here in Ghana.
Yes, and I'm also not. I'm not surprised that issues of the economy, unemployment, came in tops. If you look at if you've been following the Global Info Analytics survey very closely, you'll notice that the economy and jobs have been in the top 2, top 3 issues. If you look at Professor Smart Sapong's baseline survey that came out in June, economy, jobs were at the top, and I think it's reflective of some of the economic challenges and pinch points that Ghanaians have felt, and then some of the unemployment issues that they have faced as well. So I'm not surprised that the economy and issues of unemployment emerged as the top issue. If you look at Afrobarometer, it's been done 10 times, and unemployment has come up. If you add the most recent one, unemployment has been the #1 issue 7 out of those 10 times. So again, you can understand why those twin issues of the economy and the unemployment continues to dominate the minds of Ghanaians in terms of what really matters in this election.
I see. And interacting with the voters, as you heard them there live at the Kwame Nkrumah interchange tonight, clearly tells you, it confirms what we've been talking about. But you've been looking at the party's manifestos as well. Do they really respond to the demands and expectations and concerns of people on the matter of the economy and jobs?
I would say so, right? So, for example, if you look at the NDC manifesto, for example, one of the key economic policies or ideas that they are proposing to implement is the 24-hour economy, and then there are other proposals that deals with equipping, the youth and other segments of the population with the kind of skills, job-related skills that may be needed to make them more employable. If you look at the NPP manifesto as well, you see emphasis again on, job training, equipping the youth, other segments of the population again with the necessary skills. It talks about different approaches to expanding various sectors of the economy with the hope that once those sectors of the economy grow, that more jobs will be created. So both parties are putting out ideas that they believe would help both the economy grow and by default then create more jobs as well. But with these ideas and with these proposals, the key is always the successful implementation of them and the extent to which once you are able to successfully implement them, you get the intended results that you want.
But and that is also Mr. Dankwa as well, and I'll bring you in as well. But Dr. Kwapong, there's also that element of trust, isn't it? So even before you get a chance to test whether they're going to execute them efficiently and effectively, the voters must trust who is saying they will do A, B, C, and D, right? That element of trust is crucial in this election, isn't it?
Very key. And if you look at the Afrobarometer results, you actually find that whilst unemployment is the #1 issue of concern, you would also notice that when it comes to the factors that would drive choice of presidential candidate, one of the top reasons that emerged is the candidate's trustworthiness and character, right? So in as much as you are on the campaign trail pushing all kinds of ideas, at the end of the day, the voters have to also trust that this is the person I can believe can do this for me. So beyond the soundness of the policy proposals and ideas, driving that would be the extent to which the Ghanaian voter trusts that this is the candidate who will be able to follow through. This is the candidate that I want to hedge my bets with when it comes to improving the economy or creating more jobs.
I see. Mr. Dankwa, and you put that specific question to the people you polled, that who do they trust, right, to, as it were, deliver on the promises on the issues of economy and so on. What was the outcome?
Right. If you look at the trust issue, in fact, we asked them who they believe has the competence and the experience or to take us out of this economic mess. Unfortunately, we have stopped asking this question in this round of polls, but in the past that we've been carrying out, John Mahama has always led all the pack when it comes to trust issues on the economy, trust to create more jobs, and trust to face the educational issue. And that has been consistent from, I think, April 2024 until we ended this round of polling in October. But this time around, we just focused on the main election outcome. And I think if you look at people, key issues and who they trust again, for example, if you ask people that, what are your top issues, they mention economy. And then when you ask them who they're going to vote for, you can say that they are choosing John Mahama when it comes to those who say economy is the top issue. And then again, when you go to jobs, you ask them what are your top issues, they will say job. And then when you look at what who they are voting for, you see most of them voting for Mahama. Likewise, on education. But on the education, the gap between Mahama and Bawumia is a bit closer because of the credit that senior high school gives to the MPP.
Mm. I see. And gentlemen, maybe this is to both of you, Dr. Kwapong and also Mr. Dankwa. When you look at the party's responses, and Dr. Kwapong, as a quick one on this, the party's responses to, for instance, the Afrobarometer survey, they say that, well, these are just people's perceptions, and so it doesn't reflect their reality. So you hear government still talking about the number of jobs that have been created, yet unemployment is a big issue for the persons who were polled.
Correct. And so but you see, it's not just about people's perceptions. These are based on, you're polling people who are telling you about their lived experiences, to use an Afrobarometer 10. So these are their lived experiences. This is what they themselves have experienced. This is what their families have experienced, their friends, their neighbors, their co-workers, etc., etc. So yes, you may have created, or you may assert that you've created 2.6 million jobs, right? But it could also mean that because the demand for jobs outpaces the supply, that 2.6 million supply, then you can understand why unemployment continues to remain the #1 issue on the minds of Ghanaians. And even when it is disaggregated, you see that those who fall within the age bracket of the youth, unemployment continues to be their #1 issue as per round 10 of Afrobarometer. So again, for me, these are things that, these are pinch points that people are feeling and are expressing them through a credible survey like the Afrobarometer report.
And Mr. Dankwa, I see you nodding in agreement to a number of the things that Dr. Kwapong is saying. Is it consistent with what you also derived in your surveys or the polls that you conducted with these people on the matter of how the parties have been responding to the outcomes of the polls?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the youth in particular, I mean, job is their problem. Even their parents, even though the parents may be working, they are concerned that their kids are not working. Even the grandparents who are 65 are still concerned that their kids are not working. So perception, yes, for those who have already got the job, but they have people who also live or depend on them who have no jobs. So this is not mere perception, but the reality of the people every day. If you look at the top issues for voters, especially the younger people, it is job, not economy, for them, #1. And then maybe you have economy and then education. So if you disaggregate the data, you can see that young people are more concerned about the jobs than the older population, which is in line with what Afrobarometer found.
And especially at a time in this country where we've had jobless growth before. So you'd understand why jobs is number one and less of the economy coming through. But gentlemen, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. And Musa Dankwa, appreciate your time as Executive Director of Global Info Analytics. Also to you, Dr. Kwapong, appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining us. He is a senior fellow Democracy and Development at the Center for Democratic Development, CDD, joining us from New York. Dr. John Osai-Kwapong, thank you so much. Musa, thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate you. This is Ghana Tonight. Coming up next, we'll still stay on the matter of jobs because the flag bearer of the NPP and Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, says he is the man to trust on job creation for the youth. But what has been the verdict on the performance of his government in this matter of job creation? Well, guess what? A number of you have been talking about this, and we've had a conversation on this matter of the number of jobs created here on Ghana Tonight on Manifesto Check with Dennis Baberi-Wadam. He's going to be joining me in a bit. But flag bearer of the NPP is saying that the next NPP administration will seek to create 4 million jobs to meet growing demands. In a formal engagement with young voters, the NPP flag bearer reiterated his pledge to create an enabling environment for private sector-led growth.
If in 8 years, with all the challenges, we were able to do 2.6 million jobs, it shows, by just plain logic and reason, that we will do much more than 2.6 million in the next 8 years. I expect us to go to at least if we proceed on this trajectory for the next 8 years, we should, with all of these different aspects come in, I am looking at us moving to create 4 million jobs in the next 8 years. Today he says there is no link between digitalization and the economy. Right? How can that be? In this fourth industrial revolution, how can we have a leader who doesn't appreciate the value of digitalization in a digital global economy? He should not be allowed close to the presidency with that mindset. He should not be allowed close to the presidency with that mindset. A leader who doesn't understand digitalization in today's world wants to be president of a country like ours.
That was yesterday when Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, the flag bearer of the NPP, had an engagement with young voters across the country. It was live on TV3. But beyond this, what's the verdict of the public on the very government that the vice president belongs? And this is not the first time we're having this conversation about jobs. We made reference to the manifesto of the NPP in 2020 and 2016 as well. And the manifesto checker, Dennis Baberi-Wadam Esquire, is joining me in the studio right now. And it's good to have you, as always.
Glad to be here, Alfred, as always.
What are we looking at?
Well, to better situate this conversation, it's important for us to go back to the slides that you showed earlier as to why it made a lot of sense, politically and everything else, why the vice president and any other person vying for presidency of this country would want to engage the youth on job creation, because it's pretty obvious that all the surveys that we have seen so far, from the Global Info Analytics, the NCCE one, and then the most recent one from Afrobarometer, all put the unemployment or job creation as one of the key issues that voters will look out for. And this is a subject that affects the constituency that falls within the youth category. So when you look at persons that are in the youthful brackets, our concern basically is jobs.
True.
We are either unemployed or underemployed. So it just made sense that the vice president had reason to engage. Even beyond what he had proposed in his manifesto, he still thought it wise to engage the youth and say a lot more on that. But really, what we heard him say are not really things that we haven't heard before. Most of them have been captured in the manifesto. Take the digital skills program, for instance, one that aspires to train as many as 1 million youth. But the question has always been, does that translate to jobs? And if that's how we are going to calculate our jobs, it's going to be challenging, because you have a lot of people with skills or digital skills who are unemployed. or unable to make ends meet. So it's one thing training people, yes, it's commendable, but when we speak of job creation, it should be looking at putting something directly in the hands of the people. That is the argument that has been made on one side. But yes, this is just to establish that it's well in order for a candidate or a flag bearer to want to engage. The other thing that many would look forward to would be for the flag bearers to engage on economy. Right. And remember this, before 2016, lectures on economy was a big deal. Indeed. I mean, why are we not seeing that now? Are we going to see it before? We have 33 days to election. Because economy is one of the big things that have come up very strongly. We know the vice president and flag bearer of the MPP to be very good when it comes to lectures on economy and how the economy performs. So many are looking forward to have him either engage on economy or one of the other things that have been listed as the key things. Now, Alfred, we also decided to look at what the verdict has been on this government when it comes to job creation. And this is from Afrobarometer, where they've had an assessment of government economic performance on certain areas. In there, you would find job creation, and this is more like a tracker of what the people have been saying when it comes to the government's ability to create jobs. And this is within a which period? So we are looking from 2012 all through to 2024. So this is intergovernment, it's cut across. Indeed. So in 2012, 32% on job creation, 32% of the people surveyed actually said that, I mean, they assessed the government on job creation. Indeed. In 2014, that number dropped to 21%. By 2017, it shot up to 45%. 2019, it shot up to 42%. 2022, it dropped sharply to 16%. Because when we're looking at that period during COVID, after COVID, post-COVID, 2022, where the number of persons were laid off as a result of the impact of the pandemic and so on. And this 16%, 2022. So that's post-COVID. 2022. Now by 2024, from 16%, it went up marginally to 18%. So that's how you see it. And the change in percentage between 2012 and 2024 is 2, and the change between 2024 and 2016 is minus 14. And that's very obvious when you look at it from the numbers 32 and 18%. I mean 32 by 2012, and then 2024 it dropped to 18%. That's how you see it. So when you look at this picture, it tells you what the people think about the job creating ability of the government over time. I mean, the verdict, as always, is with the people, and this is a representation of the people's voice when it comes to job creation, Alfred. And you see in there that they did a number of layers as well and other issues, managing the economy. And you see economy is on top here, and that's the more reason why the presidential candidates should pay attention to economy and engage more on economy and tell the Ghanaian public what they intend to do to turn the economy around. And there's also improving living standards of the poor, narrowing gap incomes, and keeping prices stable. But all these things, I mean, the argument has been made that if you address the issues of economy, all the other things will fall in place. Because, for instance, job creations will come up, price stability, I mean, improved standard of living, and all those things, Alfred. So it's all about the economy. It's all about the economy. I wouldn't add that bit, you know, the U.S., it's all about the economy, stupid. No, but I mean, the fact of the matter is... It is what it is. Yes, it is what it is. It's all about the economy. Exactly, Alfred. Indeed. And it's interesting how things are playing out when it comes to the economy and how it features in elections. Because even in the United States, I say even because obviously when it comes to the comparative analysis of the economic situation or the development with both countries, you would expect that other issues will play in. So, for instance, abortion and immigration is not really our issue. No, but not in our context. Absolutely. But economy, job creation. Butter and bread. Let's reduce it to that, because economy sounds like a very technical word. When we say butter and bread, Those are the things that we're looking at.
So even in the US elections, you have the economy being a big conversation in there as well.
Certainly. People must first survive to be alive to vote in any election.
Dela Michelle and our colleagues as well, Ibrahim Sani, they're all going to be joining us from the United States, different states in the US, as we gauge the mood ahead of the elections we've been building up tomorrow. But they're joining us right after this quick break here on your Election Command Center. Stay with us. We're back shortly.
You know, one bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint, superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply superior. You know, one bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint, superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply superior.
Nana, who are you voting for this year?
How about area? As for this question, you need not ask. John Mama and the NDC, of course. Who else? You know there should be a change. Maybe I should have brought my to papa.
Nana, born before computer.
Yeah,
do you still remember how to vote?
I am so sharp. On December 7th, when I get to my police station, I'll take my voter's ID card to the EC officer. He will check, find my name, and give me a ballot paper. I'll inspect the ballot paper and make sure the EC stamp is at the back with no other markings around it. When I get to the box, I will just inspect the paper again, search for the umbrella. I will just put my thumb in the ink pad and stamp the empty box just by the umbrella, not on the line or Mohammed's face, but in the empty box just by the umbrella. Then I clean my hand, fold my ballot paper vertically and horizontally, and drop it straight into the presidential box.
Now well done.
On the parliamentary candidate, I'll just stamp my hand in the empty box just by the umbrella. Now I'm done. Give it back.
Vote for change. Vote for John Mahama and the NDC.
Luckiest.
Star 712 hash.
Luckiest everywhere.
8K. Hey, you get an 8K. Get back packing from your command. Hey, wait.
You go put it on his tab. This is my man.
Good luck. We'll ready. We are star 712. It's your phone. I'm dialing the magic numbers. Star 712. Now welcome to the luckiest. And now with me at home ticket. You can buy for yourself or your loved one.
Mommy, tell mommy who's here.
You're buying for me, right?
Or who else? Let's choose buy tickets for others.
Love you, boo boo.
Maybe straight to option 4. Now we try. You need to buy tickets worth 50 Ghana to qualify. Yes, you can buy random or preferred tickets. I'm choosing random tickets. That's it. Listen, if you buy the random ticket, the system chooses a random number for you. But if you buy the preferred, you get to input your own preferred 5 digits. 5.
Baby, give me your 5 numbers.
And how much are we buying?
Babe, look at the body and buy you.
With your body,
Hey,
there are. Tread cautiously. Now follow the prompts. Now the luckiest.
The luckiest is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform, not for persons below 18 years. TNCs apply.
Born like this, creative, uncommon.
Crafted with flavorful African herbs and fruits. To honor people, we just celebrate your originality. Cheers to 8 years of authentic taste.
Papa Sammy! I beg, if you find something small, give us.
Bro Sammy, you see, no be say boys no one do nothing and just they rely on handouts. Just no deal.
I understand the hustle. Hope they come.
John Mahama, they come do the National Apprenticeship Program where he go sort you guys.
Brother Sammy, waiting with that.
John Mahama knows say no be everybody way won't work for office.
Like me.
That one day is true.
Under the National Apprenticeship Program, young men and women where they won't learn craft will be enrolled under the program and attached to a senior craftsman who will train them for free.
I beg you, mechanic day inside. Me like this. I don't want to learn mechanical, but the course no.
Mechanics day inside. Organizing, dressmaking, fabric making, catering, hairdressing, tiling, painting. What they even sweet about this whole thing, they say, when you plead, the NDC government go make sure say they go give you certificate where you go fit take go look for job anywhere.
That's sweet. Oh, that's be one wonderful.
Another wonderful thing be say, when you plead, the NDC government go set you up with startup capital and equipment to make sure you can start your own business.
Wow! I dey go shopping my town wait 7th December.
Vote for change. Vote for John Mahama and the NDC.
I'm a Ghanaian and I love luxury accredited faith and I love democracy.
December 7th, Ghana is voting.
Only peace. Peace, I give it to you all.
I love Ghana.
Peaceful election before, during, and after.
One Ghana.
Peace. Peace to everybody.
One Ghana. Ghana Bakumpe.
This message brought to you from the luxury accredited faith.
Champion! This October to December, King's Furniture says, thank you, Ghana. Enjoy a whopping 25% off on all our domestic kitchen, wardrobes, and sofas. Upgrade your home with the finest furniture, crafted right here in Ghana. And for your office, we're offering 20% discount on all office furniture because your workspace deserves the best. Whether it's for home or office, now's the time to make your space truly yours and give the gift of comfort and style to your loved ones. Hooray! Promo is from October 1st and ends December 31st, 2024. Visit King's Furniture Showroom today and enjoy these incredible discounts. Locate us in Accra, Kisema, adjacent Melco, and Takrade, Tanokrum, Pipeline, right opposite Connect FM, or call us on 050-150-5507 Accra and 050-133-2327. King's Furniture sets a standard. And a big thank you to Ghana.
The 5 kg of rice has moved from 25 cedis to 165. Oh. Hey!
Boss, cement moved from 24 cedis to 105 cedis now. Hey!
The kenke is 5 cedis. The fish, I have 10, 15, and 20 cedis. Which one do you want?
Hey!
Stop the A.
Hey!
Vote for change. Vote for John Mahama and the NDC.
Everybody knows Acrobato. And if you know Acrobato, it means you know M-Punch Homeopathy Clinic. M-Punch Homeopathy Clinic is my pillar. Let's hear what others are saying about M-Punch Homeopathy Clinic. Who will be careful M-Punch one?
Chesena me ankasa me period na say problem is wom ntina ma wo ho idea ma me papa chesena nya asem ketewa na me coin point no mo hwe me modam no mo hwe bibia na so mo meduro me fire no ene ma won kura mienu foforo kwa na me kwan mu a eba
head everything yourself
me ma me no adwodwo eda ho a wontumi nante ene ne ko end point o mama nura ene ne ho idea watimi asori anante.
That's end point for you of Acrobato. Hello hey ohwehwe what che okay a free bra wo di end point wa dance am me call you no me Johnson sema na enkoyie e person na ma yemre nyina na magina sebema na me be fie for there e ho na nyina jaresa. You heard everything. I have secret. M-Punch is my secret. M-Punch Homeopathy Clinic. I'm free.
Luckiest.
Star 712 hash.
Luck is everywhere.
8K. Hey, you can get 8K. Get that packing so you have to come out. One lag. Hey, wait.
You go put it on this tab. This is my man.
Good luck. Hey, so we'll be ready. We are star 712. It's much more phone. I'm on dialing the magic numbers. Star 712. Now welcome to the luckiest. And now with me at home ticket. You can buy for yourself or your loved one.
Mommy, tell mommy who's here.
You're buying for me, right?
Or who else?
Oh.
Let's choose buy ticket for others.
Love you, boo boo.
Maybe straight to option 4. Now, you need to buy tickets worth 50 Ghana to qualify. Yes, you can buy random or prefer tickets. I'm choosing random tickets. Listen, if you buy the random ticket, The system chooses a random number for you. But if you buy the preferred, you get to input your own preferred 5 digits. 5.
Baby, give me your 5 numbers.
And how much are we buying?
Babe, look at the body and bio.
With your body,
Hey,
tread cautiously. Now follow the prompts and confirm. Now the luckiest.
The luckiest is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform, not for persons below 18 years. T&Cs apply.
Mama, stop worrying.
How is Kobna? I got some of his medication. His friends are raising funds to support us.
The kidney disease has taken the toll. But my son and our finances.
Mama, there is hope. The pharmacist told me about Mahama's policies on chronic diseases. John Mahama is going to establish the Mahama Cares Fund to support Ghanaians with kidney diseases, sickle cell, cancer, diabetes, hypertension and other heart conditions to support and ease the financial burden on families like ours. Mama, but that is not all. Ghanaians can access free health care when they go to the CHIPS compound, health centers, clinics and polyclinics. Mama, we have to vote wisely for Kobne's sake. Mama, wipe your tears. Wipe your tears. Mahama cares.
Vote for change. Vote for John Mahama and the NDC.
Welcome back. We remain your election command center. Coming up next, we're live in the United States of America to check the mood and test the pulse, the atmosphere ahead of tomorrow's crucial United States of America election. As part of our build-up for that coverage, we remain your election command center. Well, over 344 million eligible voters are expected to cast their ballot. And in fact, as we speak, over 76.4 million of the voters in the United States have already cast their ballots. And rounding up their campaigns, both Kamala Harris and Donald Trump have been talking. First, let's listen to Kamala Harris and what she had to say. Take a look.
Everyone, good afternoon. It is so good to be with everyone. Thank you. Are we ready to do this? We're ready to get out the vote? We're ready to win? All right. Okay. So first, let me thank Glenn. I was telling him when we were just hanging out backstage. So when my first office that I ran for was district attorney. And the carpenters were the first union to endorse me. and I
Let's hear from Donald Trump as well.
Honestly, they're worse than the politicians. They're worse than the politicians, and they're being caught. That's why their approval ratings are so low. They're being caught. I think it was a great thing I did for the country, because I don't think people, before I came along, nobody talked this way. But they're fake. And we need a fair press. And we don't need a ruthless press. We need a fair press. And sometimes that will be ruthless.
So these are the two front runners into the elections. And guess what? There's a lot of talk about what is happening with the immigration positions of these two candidates and then the matter of jobs. You hear Donald Trump talk about fake statistics about jobs. It plays across, don't you see that? And Dela Michelle and Sani Abdul Rahman are our international affairs correspondents. joining us in 2 different states in the United States right now. Della, thank you so much for joining us here on Ghana Tonight. You've been interacting with some of the persons of color, voters of color in the state where you are. What's been the conversation so far?
So, Alfred, thank you so much for having me this evening. Here in Maryland, where I'm currently at, the mood is actually one of anxiety. You know, people are really anxious, especially among the African-American demographics. People are concerned whether which candidate is going to come into power, specifically because of some of the issues that has been raised, which you rightfully touched on. Immigration, for instance. If you are in the African-American community, or if you're an immigrant from Africa, you are really concerned about that, because over and over again, we've heard projections of what Trump tends to do should he be, in position as the president, specifically Project 2025, some of the things that he's going to revoke, especially when it comes to you being able to get access to your working visa, or even sometimes as somebody who's here to study, some of the concerns that they have raised concerning even student visas after, completion of school here in the U.S., you being able to get the opportunity to work. Also, there's been concerns about massive deportation, which Trump has said, even though the conversation began with illegal immigrants, it looks like it's all being summed up into one, right? So when you hear immigrants, whether legal or illegal, people are concerned because now they cannot even tell if this deportation is going to affect them or not. So especially for legal residents, which we normally refer to as green card holders here in the U.S., especially in Maryland, it's a worrying situation for them. They are really anxious. I think I spoke to a couple of them who first were Republicans. They were Republicans when Trump was in, but now they are calling themselves Black Republicans for Harris, and it's because of this major issue amongst them.
And on the bit about the jobs as well, we see that being a topical issue here in Ghana, and I was telling Dennis earlier, it's playing out strongly in the United States as well, is it not?
It is. I mean, at this point, everybody wants stable opportunities. If you will recall, after COVID-19, a lot of tech companies here in the U.S. had layoffs. So from 2021 into 2022, 2023, major tech companies had a number of layoffs. Now, this layoff was coming across, whether you were white or black, it did affect them. But again, for the African Americans, how it is difficult or challenging to get jobs sometimes, of course, due to the issues of race, has been a concern, because it's not enough for you to have what we call the weapon authorization or the green card, but also things of race comes to play. So when you're filling out an application, they're asking you, are you black? Are you African American? And these are things of concerns. So people have felt that in fact, their race has also limited them in the opportunities that they will get. Saying that doesn't mean that people are not getting opportunities. They are getting opportunities, just that they have been arguing that it's been limited. So they are looking for somebody who's going to come in to listen to their concerns and make sure that it's going to be a leveled playground for everybody. If you're going in to get a job, of course, these are the things that they look forward to. These are the things that matters to them. If you're going to the grocery store, for instance, Alfred, and you're buying egg for 99 cents, you're buying bread for $3.99, these are things that are relatively expensive to people, because they do recall previously they could get these eggs for much cheaper prices, or even full for cheaper prices. So they expected some level of stability, where even when you save up and to pay your bills and to pay everything they have to pay, all is not lost, at the end of it. At least you can still have something to save. Look forward to getting your own home, which Kamala actually mentioned in her submission, saying that, listen, I know it is a struggle for first home owners. So what I'm going to do as part of my economic recovery program is I'm going to set aside enough amount of money, like $25,000 for first home owners, so it can be easily accessible for people who want to get homes, here in the U.S.
And we talk about bread and egg, and it's one of the same issues here. I mean, you're buying bread for 25 cities, between 25 and 40 cities. In fact, the last time you were in Ghana, it was something lesser than that, is it not? You're seeing that play out as well in the United States. And maybe in 30 seconds, those who have voted already, over 76.4 million, we understand. What has been the conversation as to where the direction of their votes went?
So, Alfred, I spoke to one gentleman from Guyana who mentioned to me, he said, Dela, I went out and I voted for Kamala Harris. The reason being that I'm expecting to see some level of decency in the U.S. If you look at the two candidates that have been, proposed, You can tell from their rallies, from their campaigns, the way each person has communicated, the speech that has come out from each candidate's mouth, and which resonates well with people. His concern is that he's seen a particular speech that hasn't been too friendly when it comes to the Republican candidate, that is Donald Trump. It hasn't been too friendly, it hasn't been decent in his words. And he's hoping that at least the decent Americans will come together and pick up something that is going to bring back normalcy to the state. So they are hoping that their votes are going to matter this time around. Not just that, as you saw in the video earlier, today, there are a lot of campaigns going on. Kamala is in Pennsylvania. They are doing the door-to-door campaign. They're letting people go out to vote, even though, especially those who did not participate in the early voting earlier.
Della, appreciate you on this, and we're with you every step of the way for this coverage, so we'll connect with you tomorrow as well. Thank you so much for this update. Appreciate you. Della Michelle, thank you so much. It's international affairs correspondent together with Abdul Sani. They're going to be with us as we cover the elections in the United States, and we should be of concern as well, because whatever happens there plays out in many ways, and its impact here in Ghana. On behalf of the rest of the team, I want to say thank you so much for staying with us here on Ghana Tonight. Join the New Day team and the Sunrise team. We're also live on 3FM 92.7. I'm Alfred Okanse. Have a good night.
Ghana Tonight is brought to you by Flamingo Paint. Superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage, simply superior.